Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Leah, owner and creator of My Bird's Eye View LLC. Today's video is going to be all about shipping. When I started shipping, I did not know what I was doing. I've learned a lot along the way, and I'm here to help you hopefully save some money in the shipping process. Now, if you have a shipping fulfillment center, then you probably are not going to find this too helpful. This video is going to be for you if you are shipping out of your home, out of a small business, small studio, and you're looking for some tips and tricks about shipping, or if you don't know where to even begin. It can be overwhelming if you're just used to sending out letters with stamps on them at the post office or putting them through the blue shipping containers. Then this is different. It's way different to be shipping out a big package. Now you can put packages through there too, but the prices are going to be different for all of them. So one of the most important things that you can learn from this entire video is to never go into a shipping store again. Please promise me you are never going to go stand in a line at a counter at the USPS store. You are never going to enter there to get a package weighed and measured and paid there. You'll be wasting a lot of your money by doing that. So I'm here to show you some tricks to save you some money so that you can make more money through your business. You can also have shipping carriers come straight to your house or business to pick up the packages. It's super easy, just go straight to their site. It's a way that you won't have to schlep everything straight to the stores. It's really convenient. Usually they can't come until the next day from when you plug it into the website, but it is really easy. There's a couple different platforms that can help save you some money. One thing that we're going to be talking about more in depth today is Pirate Ship. Shippo is another one, but we're going to be really diving into Pirate Ship. What these are free web-based softwares or consolidation platforms that integrates with shipping companies. They make their money through their contracts with UPS and USPS. At least Pirate Ship doesn't contract through FedEx or DHL, which are other shipping carriers throughout the US. Pirate Ship integrates with Etsy and other e-commerce websites. They source through all of the competitors to give you the best and cheapest options. You print out your own shipping labels. So you can do this through either printing through a printer, cut out the label, tape it to your package, or you can use a thermal label printer, which requires no ink. It's just a sticker. You stick it right to your package. It's really easy. I don't recommend that you start with a thermal label printer immediately. It's definitely an added expense. If you are shipping out enough packages that it's annoying for you to be cutting out and taping all of the labels to packages, then consider having a thermal label printer. There's really low maintenance, and it's definitely better if you have more frequent orders. On Pirate Ship, you can enter your dimensions and weight into a calculator to calculate what makes most sense for your shipping purpose. You can play around with it. You're never going to pay until you have finalized it. So this is a good way to get used to the platform, to get comfortable with the platform. And if you have potentially a couple different options of boxes and of different packaging materials that will change the weight, change dimensions, then you can play around with there. And these platforms are going to give you the best bang for your buck. They're going to tell you what the cheapest option is. No matter if you or your customers are paying for shipping, I do recommend that you factor in the time to ship, but most importantly, the cost. If you are eating the cost of shipping, you're going to have to factor that into the prices of your goods. And if not, you're going to be losing a lot of money. If you have the customers pay for shipping, it's never going to be exactly correct. The platforms such as Shippo that work with your e-commerce website are going to come up with a predicted price based on the dimensions and weight of your goods that you have in your shop that you already have on the back end. It's never going to be exact, but it is going to be fairly similar. And they're probably not going to be overpaying too much or underpaying too much. It all evens out really well in the end. Wix uses Shippo, which is pretty much the same as Pirate Ship. It typically gives you different prices to consider. One thing to note is that prices are constantly changing. So what works best for one particular package being sent to one address is not necessarily going to be the most ideal next week for that same package going to that same address. They're constantly changing, kind of like the price of stamps that change every year. One thing is that shipping options sometimes fluctuate throughout the year, but sometimes they actually get cheaper, but they are always changing. So what I'm saying exactly right now is not necessarily going to be the same next week. You can play around, enter your dimensions into this calculator, and calculate what makes most sense for your shipping. You put a ships from, that's where you'll be shipping from. And then all you need at this point is a zip code to put in. So for example, I put a random zip code. This zip code happens to be across the country from me, and we're just gonna play around here. When it asks for type of packaging, you have options. You can select box or rigid packaging, envelope, padded envelope, poly bag, etc. You can also choose different options for any of the priority mails for USPS. There's also options for UPS. And these are boxes and envelopes. If you know what you want to use, you always use this option. If you know that this is going to be best for you and what you are sending over, then just choose this option. If you're not familiar, you can play around, click on all of the different options here. It's a calculator. It'll give you estimates for everything. If you're not sure, I suggest starting with looking for the box option or the envelope option. So for example, if I choose a box or rigid packaging option, let's say the dimensions are 8 by 8 by 12. And if it's 10 pounds, you also want to make sure that you put ounces in this calculator too. You want to get a sense for how heavy exactly your package is going to be. So put everything, including your paper or peanut packaging, into the box or envelope to get a general idea of what you're working with. You should use a small scale that shows ounces when calculating the weight. It could be a food scale, it could be a shipping scale, it doesn't matter. And it is important to round up in ounces rather than rounding down. So for example, if you have a package weighing 10 pounds, 3 ounces, don't round down to 10 pounds. Round up if anything. So let's put 10 pounds, 3 ounces. Get rate quote. This tells me, based on the information that I plugged into there, Ground Advantage Cubic is the cheapest option. It gives you other options too. So for a couple bucks more, USPS Ground Saver is going to be the cheapest. And then other UPS options, Priority Mail Cubic, it does give you the Priority Mail options here because you just selected box. Now, let's say we wanted to select an envelope. We can put boxes into envelopes, right? So let's say we did that. It'll give you cheaper options. So sometimes that's a good trick too. Let's say we plugged in USPS Priority Mail large flat rate box. It'll tell you exactly how much that is. I know that it's going to be cheaper not to go flat rate for this option. At this point, you would need the consumer's information, such as their address, to go forward to create the label. So I'm not going to bring you further right now, unfortunately, but that is how you would create the label. That's when you pay. It's going to give you cheaper options when you pay through Pirate Ship or a similar platform such as Shippo than if you go straight into the store. It comes with tracking information. So you can easily see where your package is along the route
when you purchase your label when you send it out. And you'll be able to share all of this information from the person who purchased your package from you. So it works kind of like your Domino's order, where it'll show them every step of the way. This one I sent a while back, and you can see that it was delivered. Some of the carriers actually take pictures of it being delivered, so you know that it was actually delivered to that person. So this one, for example, I sent through Ground Advantage Cubic, and it happened to be zone 2 based on those zones. It tells you how much it actually cost and along the way where it was.
Most of the time, USPS is going to be the cheapest option for you. Now, just last week, I sent out a package through UPS. Somehow that was the cheapest option, and that's what I used because it was the cheapest. But I'm going to be going through some of the USPS options because that is typically going to be your cheapest. USPS offers two main types of shipping: first class shipping and priority mail shipping. First class is for packages under 1 pound, so really light mail. You can use boxes. You probably should use something like an envelope or a poly mailer because they are light. Now, one thing to note about poly mailers is when you are inserting the dimensions to get your shipping label, you need to measure the length and width for the actual poly mailer itself, not when something is inside of it. So you need the long dimension and this dimension, and you probably will have to include about 1 inch or 2 inches to the thickness for it to actually recognize. But do not measure the poly mailer when it is closed. Do not measure the poly mailer when there is a box inside of it. Just measure the poly mailer from the total size when it is flat. So I do recommend getting a couple different sizes of these if you will be using them often. First class mail is zone based, so that means that it uses the proximity from you to your recipient. So the further away that your recipient is from you, the more expensive it is. The closer away from you the recipient is, the least expensive it is. Again, first class mail needs to be for packages under 1 pound. Do not try to cheat the system and say that it's under 1 pound if it isn't. They will weigh your package and charge you or the customer for the extra money if it is not under 1 pound. First class mail typically takes 2 to 3 days to get to the customer. Priority mail offers 5 different options. You have standard priority mail, priority mail express, priority mail flat rate, ground advantage weight based, and priority mail cubic. Keep in mind that these options are constantly changing, but these are the current options that USPS offers. If you don't know what's best for you, that's why you're here. I'll explain all of this in more detail. Priority mail takes 1 to 3 days to get to the customer, so this is potentially a faster option than first class shipping. I would use priority mail for any packaging that weighs more than 1 pound. The first option is standard priority mail. Standard priority mail measures dimensions and weight of your package. It is zone-based, just like first class shipping. For packaging, you can use pretty much anything with a few exceptions. You can use any plain or color box. So you can use a white box, you can use a brown box. It does not matter. It could be a purple box, a pink box, a rainbow box. You can use any colored envelope. So you can use a manila envelope, you can use a white envelope, you can use a rainbow envelope. You could reuse a box if you get boxes in the mail. You can take all of the labels off of the already used boxes that you get. It really doesn't matter. You can also use free USPS priority mail boxes or envelopes. This is an envelope. They have priority mail padded envelopes. You can use something like this. So these must say priority mail here, but they must only say priority mail and not also say priority mail express, priority mail flat rate, priority mail regional, etc. So they must only say priority mail here. These are free from USPS. So as long as the contents of your packages fit into the boxes, and that's the case for any of the priority mail options, then you'll be able to use that for free rather than buying boxes. Regular priority mail can get more expensive as you ship further from you, so it might not be the best option for packages over 1 to 2 pounds that live further from you. So I'm shipping out from Pennsylvania. If I was shipping a package to California, standard priority mail probably is not the option that would make most sense. Priority Mail Express also has envelopes and packaging that you can get straight from USPS for free. You would use shipping packages here that just say Express. This is really good for overnight shipping. If you have a customer saying to you that they need something the next day or the day after, then you can always charge them more money and you can overnight ship. It can get really expensive. So if you are not charging for shipping from your business, then you probably should not use Priority Mail Express. It could cost upwards of $30 or more to ship even a small package. There also is a Priority Mail Express International option. Priority Mail flat rate boxes and envelopes are also a good option if you have small, heavy mail. So Priority Mail flat rate is a flat rate option that gets rid of the zone-based shipping and the weight. These are good for your very heavy packages. Each size box has a particular fixed price no matter the weight, which means that you're paying one price to fit anything into this box or envelope. If it fits, it ships to anywhere in the country. Again, these boxes and envelopes are free from USPS, and you can fit a box into an envelope to make it cheaper. Ground Advantage weight-based is another option. It is the slowest, but it could be the cheapest option for lighter packages. It's up to a 5-day delivery, not including Sundays, within the 48 continental United States. So not Hawaii or Alaska or territories. Those are up to 26 days of delivery. You can use a plain free priority mail box from USPS or plain boxes like this, just like you would use for standard priority mail. Now lastly, Priority Mail Cubic is good for small, heavy packages, just like the flat rate option. You can use plain free priority mail boxes from USPS or plain boxes, just like you would for standard priority mail or Ground Advantage weight-based. The difference with Priority Mail Cubic is that weight does not matter as much as the size of the box. So how much cubic volume the size of the box uses is what determines the price. The bigger the box, the more expensive it will be. The smaller the box, the cheaper it will be. However, you can't use a box with a dimension over 18 inches on any of the sides. Priority Mail Cubic is also zone-based shipping. However, it is difficult for you to use Priority Mail Cubic when you go into the store. You can use it through the platforms like Pirate Ship and Shippo, but if you go straight into a store, which you should never do, then you will not be able to use Priority Mail Cubic. But this is a really good option for those small, heavy packages, and you can get it online just as fine. Now, Ground Advantage Cubic is an option to decide whether you should use Ground Advantage weight-based or Ground Advantage Mail Cubic, and it'll decide what's most important, the dimensions or the weight. Once you go on to whatever platform it is for you to purchase your shipping labels, you'll be able to browse around and find what carrier is going to be the cheapest. You can play around, you can enter all the dimensions, the weight, and it'll tell you exactly how much it's going to cost for different carriers. So it will compare, for example, USPS rates to UPS rates, and you'll be able to get the cheapest one.
What this is a detailed information guide that includes all of the updated USPS shipping rates. This is directly from Pirate Ship. So it explains the differences between all of the different packaging and shipping options that you can send out. Hopefully, what I'm explaining through this video is more clear than anything you can read here, because I know personally that it is confusing for me. This guide specifically brings you through the USPS zones. So you can see those zones above. You can also see the different zones for the different shipping options that you can choose through USPS here. So you can see that as things get further away, they become more expensive. So it really depends on all of the factors, the weights, the dimensions, the location, what type of shipping packaging you're using to determine what is best for you. It also goes by zones with the actual weight. So you can see that you can ship up to 70 pounds at a time. It can get very expensive if you are going through a route that looks to the zones.
Now, personally, I have so many different size boxes that might or might not be the best option for you. When I was looking into purchasing boxes, I purchased a lot of different size boxes because I was thinking, well, I have really big inventory and small inventory, and it's really hard for me to ship out one kind of item in one box and then reuse that same box for other items. For example, I have really small ornaments. I also have really small things like greeting cards and stickers, but I also have really big items such as my candles. Now, these are pretty heavy boxes, and these are pretty large boxes. So these don't even fit in the smallest USPS priority mail flat rate boxes that they offer. So I can put this into a medium-sized flat rate box, but I'm only going to be able to fit one of these candles into one of those flat rate boxes. The large box also only fits one of these boxes of candles. So I can't use flat rate mail when I'm shipping out more than one candle. Now, where to find your shipping materials, where to find your boxes? I recommend that any of the contents for the inside of your boxes, you do not purchase those. I have purchased some crinkle cut paper before from Amazon. I don't think it's necessary that you do that unless that is a specific thing that comes in all of your packaging, because maybe you will get enough packaging materials that come within products that you purchase. So store all of the packaging materials that you already get as you get different products coming in. So anytime you get any kind of peanuts, anytime you get crinkle cut paper, anytime you get extra packaging paper, anytime you get anything in the mail that could contribute to packaging, save that. That's going to save you a lot of money. If your products fit into a box that you get in the mail, then you can just reuse those boxes unless you're doing any of the priority mail expresses, flat rates, etc. So you can just reuse those. Most boxes I receive don't fit 2 candles in all of their packaging. So sometimes it can be harder for me to do that, but that might work for you. Personally, I wouldn't repurpose an Amazon box because those don't really look as professional as a plain box might look. You do want to put yourself into the buyer's shoes and think, what would I want if I was opening up this box? Do I want it to be an experience? Do I want to think I'm getting an Amazon package? Do I want to know that this was something that was really thoughtful and professionally made? That's personally why I did the double packaging for all of my candles. Now, where to purchase any of the packaging, the outside packaging materials that you will be shipping out, such as boxes or envelopes. The big answer is that really depends. A lot of people like to look at Uline for packaging. They have any kind of packaging options under the sun. It's a really good option if you need a lot of different packaging and you want to make it really easy on you. Uline is absolutely wonderful. I looked at every single box option that I wanted through Uline, and I put them all into the cart, and then I got to checkout and I realized that shipping was going to be pretty expensive just to get my shipping materials. And personally, that didn't really sit well for me. So I decided to go to the option that was going to be cheaper. I spent a lot of time comparing different prices of boxes and packaging options on any platform that was available to me. So I looked all over Uline. I also looked at Amazon. Most of my boxes are from Amazon because I do have Amazon Prime, so I was able to get really fast shipping and free shipping. So I was able to compare the price per box and find out that considering shipping from Uline, it ended up being cheaper per box for me to get those materials from Amazon. I also get my smaller boxes from Amazon, the ones that fit the ornaments. I get my poly mailers from Amazon. I get all of my envelopes from Amazon. I get really all of my packaging from Amazon. And in no way is this sponsored by Amazon, but it is important to do your research and to see what is actually going to be cheaper per unit. Now, I hope that this video was helpful. I know that shipping can get really complicated. I know that I've been really confused by it myself in time, and there's a lot that you need to learn to understand it. So hopefully this was helpful in consolidating some of that information, making things a little bit more understandable, a little bit more concise. If you have any questions, feel free to drop those down below in the comments, and I can answer those in those comments. Now, if you like this video, it would mean a lot if you could give it a thumbs up below, and if you could subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.